we have a very good question here today. A Zhuge at 5111 will be better than a Max YSG? Well, let's take a look into this one. We're going to talk about a few things in here, not just about 5111, but also a 5511. So that is going to be very interesting. So as you guys know, a brand new legendary commander has been dropped, which is Zhuge Liang, which is a archer commander here in Rise of Kingdoms. Now, Zhuge Liang is really great. I mean, the ability that he's able to bring in here, but in comparison now to a Max Legendary Season 1, is it better? Well, let me know in the comment section below what you think, but I'm going to give you my opinion in here as well. Because comparing with somebody who is expertise is a little bit different because you have all the skills maxed out. Now, we have to think about this in a certain process as well. Do we look at it only in the open field combat, or do we also consider the total usage of the hero or the commander? Because YSG is also a garrison, and what's its ability is really great. Now, Zhuge Liang is, has a amazing first skill here. Both AOE for, YSG and as well as Zhuge Liang. Now, let's take a look into this in here. If we look into the first skill, we did say it's going to be 5111 for Zhuge Liang. You get 2000 damage factor in here. You're going to get 1700 damage factor in here. It's almost similar, kind of close, right? Not a huge difference in their 300 damage factor. You do get that 5% damage reduction though, or sorry, you do get that 15% damage reduction though, which would put Zhuge Liang in a uptrend here in comparison to YSG. So I would say first skill, Zhuge Liang would win. So 1 point for Zhuge Liang. All right. So now let's take a look into the second skill here. This is the borrowing arrows. Although Zhuge Liang gets good amount of damage in here as well, as you can see in here, you can do a direct damage factor of 200 at level 1, but this is a triggered chance. It has a 50% chance to negate any effect and deal direct damage. So you have to first get that effect, the control effect. Just for example, like a silence, like from Guan Yu, let's say. Then you have a 50% chance to negate that and as well as deal some damage. Now, you also have an archer health bonus. We're only looking at level 1, so it's 10% in here and deals 1% extra damage bonus. Now, this is where kind of YSG gets back into the game, because YSG now have normal attack of this commander troop have 10% chance to grant 100 rage. So whenever this trigger, in comparison to this trigger, you get a 100 rage in here, which allows you to cast this skill faster. So you also have a 100% attack bonus, which is huge. All right, archer attack bonus. That is going to be the base archer attack. So that is huge. That's 100%. That is huge. Now, I would say in this second skill, YSG takes the win. So now it's 1-1 into the points. 1-1, okay? Now, let's take a look into this skill here. Third skill. Now, let's first look into Zhuge Liang. As you can see with Zhuge Liang, if this commander contains only archers, all right, it is going to deal 5% extra damage. Now, normal attack from this commander troops have a chance, 10%, to increase the attack of their archers by 25%. All right, this is great. Very good in open field. The only thing, though, is like, you're relying on that chance again. That 10% chance is quite low in my opinion. But you do get that 5% extra skill damage, which is great. Right? Good, mediocre 5% skill damage, because you're going to see here in YSG that you're going to get a lot more skill damage. Now, we're comparing these two skills in here, the skill number 3. For YSG, though, whenever you're leading this into your garrison in your own city, you will be able to basically get this watchtower and troop, gain 10% attack. So this is going to buff every single troop with 10% increase attack in your garrison as well as your watchtower. So I would say when it comes to garrisoning, then YSG takes the win in here. You can technically use Zhuge Liang for garrison as well, but it will not be effective in here because most of us will have, infantry calves in our city. And this thing only dictates that it has to be only archer units. Well, that's not going to be applicable by then. Now, the normal attack will benefit you if you are defending in the garrison, but the 10% chance there, do I really want to rely on to that one, or do I rely on YSG? So I would say if it comes to open field, I would say, yeah, Zhuge Liang definitely wins. When it comes to the defending the structure, YSG will win in here. And you got to think about this, that we're talking about an expertise YSG. We also have a circular AOE, right? So that is also huge for YSG in here. So there we go. I would say for skill number 3, it is a draw. I think that's the best way to put that out there. All right, so fourth skill here, let's take a quick look onto the Marquis Zhongwu. Whenever this commander uses an active skill, all right, their troop will gain Marquis effect. So only time you gain this Marquis effect is when you cast an active skill. And this is going to last for 10 seconds, so keep that in mind. So within 10 seconds, you can only do one active skill pretty much. So you get 2%. So this is a ramp up. It's not saying that every second you're going to get 2%. If it does not already have it, which it won't have because it's not expertise, you're going to be doing this process. If their troop contains only archer units and it has Marquis effect, all right, then what is going to happen? Whenever this commander uses an active skill, they will consume the Marquis effect and deals a direct damage to 3 enemy troops for 700, which is huge. Wow. All right, huge. 700 damage factor. Direct damage dealt through this method is not affected by buff or skill damage. So whatever skill damage earlier, it would not affect it. All right, that is huge. That is really good. I mean, 700 damage factor. So you're now looking into, we got to be fair in this one. From 1200 damage factor, right, plus 700, you're getting 1900 damage factor. If, it's totally separate, but you still get that. But you have to cast that active skill first. You gain this Marquis effect, and then once you have it, you got to wait for another turn to then get another hit in here. So that's gonna be a while. For me, I think the ramp up was great in here, but this skill in here from YSG, this is a passive skill, so you're not now looking into 1700 damage factor, right? You're actually looking at 2,550 damage factor in here in comparison to what you're seeing from, Zhuge Liang in here. Now, one thing you have to consider, though, a Max YSG with this 50% skill bonus and the gain of rage in here, you're also going to affect whichever commander you pair YSG with, regardless if YSG is a secondary or a primary. So just keep that in mind. I mean, the 50% bonus is not only going to buff up YSG here, because we're using 2 commanders in our march. So I would say in this type of comparison, 5111 of Zhuge Liang, still not that great in comparison to a YSG. Although Zhuge Liang at 5111 is really good already. But what is better really in this type of situation where we're doing the comparison? I would really go for a 5-5, at least a 5-5. Now, although this is what sets apart for Zhuge Liang, as you guys remember, YSG won the second round in here with the second skill with this Rage Restore. But if you can get this to max with 30% health, that would put, this setup really good. And you're going to get that 500 damage factor, which complements as well and eventually with this, so increasing more damage towards to the enemy when you're using a 5-5-1-1 Zhuge Liang. I think that a 5-5-1-1 Zhuge Liang would be better in the situation to comparison to a maxed YSG. A maxed YSG still provides a lot of attack damage in here, mainly from the skill damage. And you don't have to ramp up, right? It's going to pretty much be something that is regularly being dealt. So the key factor really with YSG is not just about the skill itself to do the damage, but really what's unique about this commander is that its ability to gain and restore rage at 100 rage. I mean, if the chances triggers significantly, it does put you in a very good position. So YSG is something that is easier to obtain as well in here. Most of the players that are probably watching this have a maxed out YSG. I would say do get your 5-1-1-1 Zhuge Liang. Then I would say you can still use it, but I wouldn't say it's better than YSG. Then I would say lock up the fourth skill and third skill. Get your second skill in here. and then you can use Zhuge Liang to replace YSG in that situation. Because this thing provides some good effect as well. You got to remember that you are going to be seeing a lot of players that has control effect. Just for example, you're already going to see a lot of Guan Yu out there that whenever they hit that AOE, you are going to be affected as well. So you're going to be able to trigger this damage factor in here, which is 500 if you get this to level 5. That is my opinion in here. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys again next time.